Running a large risk-based advice business may seem like a challenging prospect in today's climate. But Kris Mason and his team at MBS Insurance have found a way to keep growing, and it involves emphasising professionalism in every part of their process.
Kris, thank you for joining us today and for talking to me today. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure, Peter.
Kris, could you talk to us about the challenges of running a large, risk-based business such as yours?
I think the challenges for us with having a more scaled operation is probably no different to a lot of other businesses out there. It's more about getting the right personnel. We've gone from a 4-broker firm where every advisor was a partner within the business, very experienced. So I suppose our comfort around the quality of advice that was getting given was easy when they were all partners, very experienced, to go from a firm that'll have 20 odd advisors out there giving advice, and scaling that part of it. In a very compliance heavy industry that we're in has probably been the hardest part about it, and obviously getting that mix, I suppose, with our advisors between compliance but also actually being able to give fundamentally good advice, which I think for younger guys coming through now, they're constantly kind of have that compliance piece drilled into them. So you've still got to we've got to spend a lot of time on ensuring that they're giving the type of advice we would want them to give without being, I suppose, not stifled, but very conscious about compliance, when still it's a relationship business. You've got to be able to relate, you've got to be able to get the information out of clients to give good advice. The rest of the business, we're fortunate, we've put on a very good general manager, so we've plugged the holes that we felt needed to be covered with good expertise, in a growth business, to make sure we've got that side of the business covered off on.
So in terms of, systems and processes, have you had to, spend a lot of time and investment in a business your size to kind of have that foundation layer to be able to grow to the extent that you have?
Yes, we've had to put a very concerted effort into that. So we brought on a general manager that we employed from elsewhere that's very strong on systems and operations, and with the compliance piece and everything else, the process side of it had to be very much watertight. So we've invested a lot in software, Salesforce, all sorts of things to make sure that our process to get from client lead through to completion is, and it has to be uniform as well. So that's coming from myself that's done it the way I've wanted to do it for a long period of time, to actually falling into line with the process of the business. But you would know, in big business, once you get bigger, if you can't keep your systems and process uniform, I think everything falls over. So in some ways for us, being systems and process driven is been good for us, because we've offshored a lot of our SOA work and that type of stuff, which has forced us to get into a very routine process to allow that to happen.
Kris, how does having 100% of your revenue come from risk insurance impact the business, and how would you say it's different to other businesses that do financial planning or superannuation and risk?
Obviously we're 100% specialised on the risk side of things, which has been intentional in a lot of ways, because we think if you specialise, there's focus, and I think the industry is certainly going more specialised. We do a lot of work with high-end planning groups that just specialise on the financial planning and don't want to do the risk. And it's also, we've done it intentionally so there's no conflict with a lot of our referring parties. So a lot of the accounting firms that we deal with will have wealth arms. So if we just do the insurance piece, we never run into any issues of them being concerned about us trying to do super consolidation or other planning type things we could do. So it's always allowed us to be fully focused on risk, which is what we wanted to do, but it's also, I think for us, opens a lot of avenues that wouldn't necessarily be there if we tried to do some of the peripheral planning work ourselves as well. So it's been very intentional.
And can you elaborate on the accounting side of the business, and how accounting and the risk advice business operates together?
Yeah, so a lot of our business is built around joint ventures with accounting firms, which we fell into years ago, I suppose, when we were first licensed, when we started up through Lonsdale, which was an accounting specialised dealer group that basically had accountants that wanted to do planning work they do all the licensing. So I was, when we first started up, we were licensed through them. A lot of them were doing the advice piece, but they weren't doing much on the risk side. So the dealer group kind of said to us, look, you know, you guys are the risk specialists, can you help some of these accounting/planning businesses out and do the insurance side? And it's kind of gone from there. I mean, we like dealing with accountants because, you know, they're very much a trusted advisor. They tell their clients to do something and they do it.
Thanks, Kris. Thanks for talking about your business. It's been fantastic to hear from someone who has an established and successful business such as yours. Thanks.
No problem. Thanks, mate.